What's up, internet? Hello.
Hi.
Hello. I am Cassandra Marks. That way. She is Patricia and Young. We are the Real Estate Tea. We are to spill all of the tea for you this week.
Oh. I'm unthawed over here. Our ice is gone.
Finally,
yes, that's right.
Dallas is open.
Dallas is open. Dallas was closed for 3 days, y'all. Started Monday afternoon. I had a hair appointment. And I was driving home. The sleet started. And y'all, it was a freaking nightmare. You have to understand, like where Cass lives, they're used to that type of weather. They use salt. They get the roads ready, everything. Okay, here, cars, you should have seen it. I-30 and I-35, which are major thoroughways, shut down. Trucks stuck, couldn't get over the overpasses, cars, people pushing people, cars sliding down the... Y'all, it was a shit show. But we're open again. We're here. Very important.
We are here. We are alive. Things are good. Just raining here in the Pacific Northwest. It's been an interesting couple weeks. And so this week on the Real Estate Tea, we are going to be talking about agency and realtor expectations because so we're in a new year, and new year comes new responsibilities. And since the market has it shifted, if anybody didn't notice it, it definitely shifted at the end of 2022 and started to do that way on 2023. It has taken a very abrupt U-turn since then, but we will talk about that more on our next show on the 20th. But one thing that we as realtors, we have this agreement. So this is the one from Oregon. It's 3 pages. It's all about agency with my clients and what my responsibilities are to my clients, both the sellers and the buyers. They have different context on here depending upon who you're representing. But that does not even begin. Like, yes, this is 3 pages. I think tell me if I'm wrong, Patricia, the NAR one, like to be a realtor, you have to pay dues and to enable to call yourself a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like a whole book of ethics, like a whole bam about the ethics,
which we are bound to.
Obviously. We are. And they can turn you in for ethics violations. And I think some people forget that there is also NAR, that just because it's not covered in your state doesn't mean you're not covered by NAR.
Plus we have that. So we are people think we're loose cannon. Well, okay.
I mean, some people are.
There are some loose cannons. We aren't, but
be really honest about
this. This is mine. Ours is 1 page. And then my one in North Carolina is like a little pamphlet booklet. But yeah, this is mine. And ours has just my information, my broker's information. We have a main broker, and then we have a BIC, which is the secondary broker, because our state is so large. So we need 2 brokers. So, but yeah, all their information is on there so that they can report us if they think we suck.
But so some of these things, let me read some of this to you, because and the reason why I want to talk about this, and yes, I'm spilling the tea about this, because I'm pissed about some of the things that listing brokers have been doing these first 5 weeks of 2023. All right. Duties and responsibilities of a seller's agent: to deal honestly and in good faith, to present all written offers, notices, other communications, and to and from the parties in a timely manner without regard to whether the property is subject to contract for sale or the buyer is already party to the contract of purchase, to disclose material facts known by the agent and not apparently readily ascertainable by the party.
Ding, ding, big one.
Material facts. And material facts are different state by state.
Yes.
But okay, so let's just jump right into it. You're not supposed to speak for your clients.
Nope.
And I had an instance where I had a client that was writing on a condo, and the agent was speaking for their client, and not actually they said that we were talking about offer terms, and I was just like, hey, what do you think? Because I called to ask, what is their client looking for? And that's pretty regular practice, especially now that we're getting into multiple offer situations. And this agent was like, well, if you're not going to write an asking offer, he's like, I don't know if I even they're not even going to look at it. I'm like, you're speaking for your client, first of all.
Not supposed to do.
No. And I don't care. No. So I'm like, fine, I'll just write the damn offer because you have to give it to them. And what's funny is because in some states, like Washington, where I practice, you actually don't have, there's nowhere on the offer where they decline it. You just don't sign it. So you don't ever know if they actually presented it. I think Washington is missing a huge.
We don't have that either.
Issue. In Oregon, they either accept it, decline it, or counter it. And there is a box for all three. You check one and then you sign. And so there's just, there's that kind of thing. But one thing that's really been irking me about agency is now that we're kind of getting into more of a balanced market, people are supposed to be agents, listing agents. You got more work to do. You have more work to do to sell a house. You have agency, you and your clients have signed an agency agreement. You need to do stuff. It's not just throwing it on the MLS. One prime example is with this condo on the market, 94 days, 94. And they had not ordered the HOA docs yet. And my client's like, well, I ain't writing an offer until I can see the HOA docs because I really don't want to waste anybody's time. And he's like, well, it could take 3 days to get them back, or it could take 3 weeks. And I was like,
it won't take 3 days. It's going to take longer than that to get.
I'm like, so can you order them? I'm like, you guys have been on the market for 92 days. I don't know why you haven't ordered them yet, because you're going to need them.
Well, like you were saying, remember that situation I had? We were going to write an offer and I called the listing agent and it was listed at $550. And the agent is like, well, we have to have at least $520. Y'all, we were going to write full price. We were going to write full price. That agent told me they need at least $530. They need to have that number. Where is it in the best interest that an agent, do you think that seller knows that agent told me that? I mean,
nope.
That would have saved my client. You know what I mean? Because my client really wanted it and didn't want to lose it. Because right now I think, and we'll talk about more about this next week, or 2 weeks, but I think that people don't understand is they think something's been on the market for a long time. So, I can lowball. Not necessarily. I mean, the market's moving a little bit slower. So, but when someone wants a house, we always say as agents, listen, if you really want it, you got to write that full price offer. I mean, you can ask for closing and we can negotiate all that, but you got to think about it. I mean, how would you feel if you took 20,000 off? Could you live with 20,000 off? And you can afford the 550, but you just want to take it off just for the hell of it, see me and ask for it. But what if you lost it? How would you feel?
So you guys, are you realizing what Patricia just said, first of all? Because I don't think people are realizing the gravity of this. This listing agent literally just gave up $20,000 of their seller's money without even listening to Patricia as the buyer's agent.
No, didn't even know what the offer was going to be.
He just gave up $20,000. So you need to understand who you are hiring and who you are negotiating for. And this person just went and did that. I have never once had a client tell me, oh, you can just tell them we'll take this dollar value. No. I mean, I've been in, how many years have you been in real estate, Patricia? Have 19. You ever had a listing tell you, oh, well, we're up for 550, but I will take 530.
Yeah, no. I mean, they'll tell you, we know bottom lines, obviously, but we know that part of our listing agreement, like everybody's, is you confidentiality. There are things, and I'll say, if someone's going through a divorce and they are lowering the price because they need to get out of the house. If someone says, and if it's a big difference and they say, why is it priced where it's priced? Is it okay if I say you're going through a divorce? That's what do you want me to
do? You have to ask that. You have to ask clients if that is appropriate, because you are not supposed to share anything. This is like a doctor-patient confidentiality. You are not supposed to share anything.
No. And the thing is, I think that, a lot of times we're supposed to take the brunt of stuff. okay? Because to try to take the stress level off clients. But here's the deal, not to the detriment. If an agent's being an asshole on the other side and they're fighting everything, your client needs to know that, because it all has to do with that negotiation and kind of where you stand. Because is it the seller or is it the buyer or is it the agent? And a lot of times we've been doing it for a long time. We can pick up on that. Where's the power trip? So these are things that your client does need to know. I mean, yes, we take the brunt to try to take the stress off, but that's what we work for our clients for. We're not saying, oh yeah, it's been a breeze, no problem. But if someone's being an asshole, I'm like, listen, they're being kind of difficult. And just let me tell you where we stand. And let me tell you what the conversation has been so far. I mean, I'll show text messages. I mean, some agents don't want to go all that. That's our job. We're representing them. They need to know what's happening. So yeah. Oh yeah. Here you go.
It is a thing. It is true. We are supposed to be working for our clients, and it sounds like that agent is working against their client. And that's what this other agent, with not getting the HOA docs, is not representing their client in the best fashion. Like, what have you been doing for the last 90 days? Like, that you couldn't order them? Like, did you not order them because you didn't want to pay for them? Oh, wait, you don't pay for them anyway.
You don't pay for them.
Your client pays for them.
And that's part of the thing you say in there. We have to order these right away. You got to pay for them up front because we're going to need them.
So it's just right now, the market, for a little bit, the market changed, and you actually, as a listing agent, need to work. It isn't just putting it on the market anymore. You need to make sure there's other things as well. Like Patricia and I were talking, that there's a lot of agents in Texas and that don't know what they're doing with. So I was shocked to hear her and I talk a ton about how many foundation issues and roof issues that houses in Texas have. And that, like, due diligence for a listing agent is to have someone come out and check the foundation and someone come out and check the roof before you even list the damn property.
Yeah.
But
we have
these responsibilities. And like, I feel like in the last 3 years, we have gotten away from them so much because all you do is you literally list the property and people are just like throwing money at you.
Yeah. We're not there anymore.
So
I mean, when someone comes on and they ask you what makes you different, and I sit down and say, listen, we're going to go through things that you're not going to want to hear, and I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to freaking want to do. But you know what? It's going to come down to when we get into that 7-day option period, which is our inspection period, it is going to make that less stressful. So would you rather do the footwork up front, or would you rather be tied up in knots, freaking out, have to extend, which then extends closing, which then everybody gets irate, right? And here we've had some, Cassandra and I talk about this. We had a roof. I asked the condition of the roof because I see from the seller's disclosure when it was last checked. And I said, have you had the roof checked? Has a roofer come out and checked? No. So we go into the inspection period, and what happens? We have to freaking call out a roof adjuster. A roof adjuster doesn't get out in 2 days, y'all. It takes 5 to 7 days to get a roof adjuster out. That's just how it is. And especially if you just come out of a storm, it's insane. And especially if you're under contract and then you got to get somebody out. But the thing is, if that would have been done up front, we ended up having to extend that option period that was 7 days to 18 days. 18, y'all. That's ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. I mean, I was pissed because I don't work that way. So I got to go to my client. I got to keep going on and on. It's like the transactions that won't end. But all that could have been just avoided. Just like foundation checks. Have you got your foundation checked? Nope. Son of a bitch. Okay. Oh, look, there's a foundation problem. Here's the deal. An inspector's going to find it. So I'm a big believer in the upfront inspection, the pre-inspection, the pre-list inspection, because then let's just say you get the inspection back. You say, I'm going to fix item 1 through 5, but that's it. I'm done. Otherwise, we're selling it as is. If the seller, which there's no reason they wouldn't, we put the inspection report on the MLS. They know exactly what they're buying. Exactly what they're buying. And So that takes the guesswork out. We've had this done. You could still get an inspection. You want to pay for your own inspection. That's fine. Cause they're like appraisals. Everybody's got an opinion, right? So same type of thing, but the major stuff has already been covered.
Yeah.
Makes life easy.
So it's just, we're getting back to basics here. I know I've been waiting for February to come because I was curious to see how many agents in my market did not renew their dues. And from what I have heard, I believe it was 35% in the Portland.
Wow, it's a lot. Yeah, because now they have to work.
Yeah. It's a good and a bad thing, but I feel bad. Real estate is not for everyone, and it is not for the weak of heart. We are entrepreneurs. We are business owners. We don't have people telling us how to do what we do. We write our contracts underneath a principal broker where we hang our license, but are they there to tell me how to do my job? No. They're just there to make sure that I'm doing enough to keep the contracts legal. They'll call something out when I turn paperwork in, but are they knowing that I violated agency agreement by in your last comment, just giving up $20,000 for my client? I'm not going to do that because that's not my job. But that's a lot of what we faced because a lot of people came in. There's no school. Yeah, there's the classes that you take to get your license, but it has nothing to do with actual real estate, really, practicing real estate.
And you're right. Yes, it's not. There's no class. There should be, but there's not. Beginner
No,
class,
and so agents like ourselves, we take classes to better ourselves. I know I've taken a master negotiator class. It was like a 3-day class on how to negotiate with other people. And it has helped me immensely in negotiation process, but I don't understand. It just irks me that people have such a challenge with agency.
And you have to understand, and I don't think that people really know a good realtor, we don't have teams. We're solo agents. People that have teams have a whole different concept of how they run their business.
Mm-hmm.
But for Cassandra and I, we have to do our own marketing. We have to do our own videos. We have to follow up our leads. We don't get paid unless we kill what we eat. Literally. Yeah. It's a lot of work. And like I said, this is what we choose to do. We love it. But I don't really, so for us to come up against an agent, we finally get a buyer, right? And you finally get them under contract, and then you got to put up with this bullshit. This is the problem, that these other agents that are lazy, do it part-time, or just don't do what they, maybe some of them might be new and they're not mentored, but somebody who's taken a listing should always be mentored. Especially, this is a lot of money you could leave on the table. There's a lot of mistakes that you can make. Okay. We live and die by a code of ethics and everything else. We got to make sure that we, cover our butts and make sure we're doing it right. And we're disclosing the right stuff. And we're, we can't help a seller file out a seller's disclosure. We're not allowed to do that. Just like I know some agents will be a POA for their clients, a power of attorney, and sign for, oh my God, never in a million years I did. So we walk a line. It's like showing somebody property. We can't steer them. But we got to say, hey, please check. These are the websites to check: schools, crime, everything. So we have to make sure that we don't make a mistake that way. So it's a lot of pressure. So if you're a good realtor, and like I said, to come up against agents that don't do their job, oh my God, it's hard. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of agents, because I'll get done with the deal and people are like, oh my God, that was the smoothest deal I've worked with. Thank you so much for making it just pleasant. Because
those are like gold. Those are like gold.
And we don't get that very often. We fight more than it's pleasant. It shouldn't have to be that stressful. It's like running into some deals are like running into a wall every day. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I have had a couple really nice ones. And that's why I try to have good relationships with other agents in my market, because when you are faced with multiple offer situation, you might not be the highest offer, but they know that last time I did a deal with that gal, she got it done. She got it done. She cleaned it up, whatever. And I'll be really honest with you. I have a lot of like, I'm not always the highest offer, but I'm always the first backup and I'm the one that closes the deal.
Yep.
And I tell people that, and I'm like, you can pick that high offer. And it just happened because my clients wrote an offer on this house. We were one of 3 offers on this house, and I was not the highest offer. The other one was cash, and I was complaining about it. And the listing agent texted me over the weekend, like 7 a.m. Sunday morning, and was like, so are your clients still interested in the house? And I go,
Mm-hmm.
really? Your cash buyer is backing out? Did they inspect? So it's not only like about how the agency and the representing and the disclosures and all that, and all of this all works together
Yeah.
and is your reputation and will
Mhm.
assist your clients. So just because someone's been doing this for 20 or 30 or 40 years does not mean that they are good at their job. A lot of the times what I have found is they like to tote that number, and they actually are extremely lazy and they think they know better. But I'm like, well, stuff's changed in 20 years. That's not how we do business anymore.
Yeah, some are very set in their ways.
And, someone's like, one gal's like, this was one of the worst transactions I think I've ever done. It was in Gresham, in 2020. And I had a house listed, and she calls me and she goes, I've worked in this neighborhood for 20 years, and your price per square foot is $60 or $70 per square foot higher than it needs to be. I go, your clients want to write an offer. And they did write an offer. And then you came in and tried to bully me about the plumbing, which is just fine. I go, and then she actually at one point cussed me out on the phone. I had it on speakerphone. My husband was sitting on the couch next to me and looked at me and was like, you're going to listen to that?
Oh, I don't listen to that kind of crap. I hang up.
Well, no, I let her go, and I just let it sit on speakerphone. And then when she finally took a breath and let me interject myself, I go, okay, honey, I think we're a little emotional right now, and this isn't about us. This is about our clients. I go, I told you what my client said. My client said they were not going to repair the plumbing because it is fine. And if you want more information about what you say and what you think is wrong with the plumbing, you should do some Google work, because it was this PVC plumbing. And they're saying, well, it fractures and it breaks. I'm like, well, the lawsuit about it stated it was used in fire suppression systems. So there was actually not just water in the pipe, there was actually chemicals.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it caused it to break. But when it's in plumbing, it's fine.
Yeah.
And so like we had the argument about they wanted to repipe the whole house. It was like
No.
$15,000. I was like,
Yeah, we're not going to improve the house. We're not going to improve or upgrade the house. That's not what this is about.
So there's a case and for due diligence right there in itself, because I knew what the plumbing was in that house. I did know what I was getting into. I did know that someone would probably say something, but I also knew, and I sent her the email links of all the information about the lawsuit. And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of houses out there that have PEX plumbing. PEX. It's like the new Flexi.
Yeah.
The initial PEX plumbing that they had out, the first version of it, also had a class action lawsuit against it. But you don't see people suing over PEX today. No.
Right.
So it's about understanding what you're getting yourself into when it comes to that, and representing your clients in the right fashion. So that lady was not representing her clients in good standing, and also like pretty much yelling and screaming at me and swearing at me is an ethics violation.
And I'm going to tell you, when clients find out that agents do that, they're not very happy. Like I had one that I said, this agent just yells at me. I mean, I closed and and they're like, that's so rude. And and it was ironic because they had gone out one Saturday to the house just to look at the neighborhood during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And the sellers happened to be out. And lo and behold, they said, hey, we're in the neighborhood. We want to show our family, because it was right by schools. I mean, it's a great neighborhood. Awful transaction. And they said, just FYI, your agent's like a bully to our agent. I never used that word, but they did. And it was ironic because she ended up calling and she apologized to me because the seller made her. So see, that's something a seller would never know, because we don't talk to the other side, obviously, or vice versa. But you can't be mean. You know what I mean? It's like they end up leaving like a basket. I even got a thing of chocolate. I mean, I think they just felt bad because see, in their eyes, everything was,
Mhm.
so at that point when they were talking, they go, oh, the repairs and this and that. We found out a lot of it was the agent and not the sellers. So
And that
I will never understand that. I
you
just
will
don't.
be surprised though, like how many times it is the agent and not the clients.
Yeah, that's what I need. And usually you can tell there's things you can ask and maneuver around, but we all have to work together. We have one common goal is to have our clients happy and get everybody moved on or moved in. That's it.
Yeah, that's
You know,
exactly right,
that's
Patricia.
it. Moved in or move on or moved in. That's it. That's our goal.
So
That's what we're supposed to do. It's not our decision. Like I know people say we. It's not really we because we don't own the house. It's not we. We're not buying the house. It's just like we're not really privy to the contract itself. So
mhm.
these are just things. The more you're in real estate, the more you understand. But our ability is just to the fiduciary responsibility we have to our client. They have the bottom line decision. Well, what do you think? We can't tell them what to list. We can suggest. I always go on a listing appointment. I always ask, okay, tell me, I know you have a number in mind. So before we get into anything and explain it all, I go, what's your number? Because that's because they won't hear anything else and they'll laugh and they'll go, okay, well, this is what we think. Great. All right. Now that we got that out, let's go over, let me look at the house. Let's go over everything. And it's funny because then we get down, they go, I've had the one they'll say, oh yeah, no, we can't list at that because they come to that conclusion. But I've learned to just come on and let them, okay, what's your number? Then we'll
Yeah.
talk about it.
And it's our responsibility. Like we should not be getting emotional about this.
Mm-mm.
In the transaction, we should not be taking it out on the other agent.
No.
And I don't know how many times it's been taken out on me, and I'm just like, whatever. Like even one time, I had a lender come after me, and like my client didn't even want to talk to their own lender
Oh yeah,
anymore.
I've had that happen.
Do you remember when that happened last summer?
Yep, I've had
And
that. That's
my client
horrible.
did not want to talk to them, and then like the lender had his manager on, and like he had the phone on speakerphone, and then his manager said something under his breath, and I'm like, I can hear you.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? I'm like, I heard you. I'm like, you get on the phone and say it to my face.
Yeah, that's not good.
Like it's just this is all about we're trying to be the best we can. We are required by a fiduciary responsibility as well as our responsibility to the National Association of Realtors and have ethics. I don't understand why people take this stuff so personally. It is a job. Yes. You might be
Yeah.
stressed out because you don't have a paycheck. Well, then maybe take a class and learn to better yourself. But don't go taking it out on other agents. Do not go and belittle other agents like to them like and this that like the girl that swore at me just killed me. And like I will never tell you who she is, but she just did that, and I just didn't understand why that was necessary because literally that has nothing to do with her. She wrote the
Right.
contract.
Exactly.
It's
Well,
about
they
her
get
client.
emotional and there's, everybody has bad days and everybody, be like, okay, we need to dial it back.
And I told her,
What's the issue?
and I told her that I said, you're getting emotional, but this is about your clients. I go, you're writing paperwork. I'm receiving paperwork. We're communicating back and forth.
That's it.
Well, I think you need to take some time, take a breath and talk to your clients and take a walk.
Get back to
I
me.
go, and we can talk later. Like I could have yelled at her. I could have screamed at her, but literally that number one was not going to get me anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. And it's not in my professional responsibility. Like, yes, I might yell and scream at Patricia and I might yell and scream at my husband.
That's what we're here for.
But most of the time it's just me complaining. But like, I'm not going to treat other agents that way because it doesn't get you anywhere. And so going forward, like we always need to continue and remember that what we do not only reflects upon our business, but reflects upon our clients.
Yeah. And like I said, no one, believe me, when you are a raving lunatic, people are going to remember that way before they're going to remember, oh, they were so nice to work with. They're like, oh, I'm not working with that agent. We're not taking an offer from that agent. And they'll tell their clients up front, they'll be like, this agent is a raving lunatic. They're really hard to work with. And then the sellers will take their word for it, which you probably shouldn't do that anyway, but agents will do that because they're we call like cock block the offer.
Well, here's the thing.
True.
It's
It
about
happens all the
relationships.
time.
I build great relationships with other agents and try not to be a pain in the butt. Obviously I remind them I'm negotiating for my clients, not I'm not trying to like stab you in the back. And like, I tell my clients, you know, hey, like this is too much, or hey, this is not acceptable. I will still do it because it is my fiduciary responsibility
Yes.
to do it. But I will also explain and remind people that it
Yeah.
is an emotional experience, and that this is, and Americans are so bad at negotiating. It is hilarious. Like the bulk of them. The bulk of them are very, very bad at
That's
negotiating
not.
because it's not part of our culture
Yeah.
at all. And
Mm-mm.
so when some of us that do sales and do negotiating, it just kind of kicks a different way.
Yeah. I mean, but that's why it's just, when we, like I said, like Cass said, like I said, it's our duty to represent our client in the best light, fiduciary responsibility, make sure we stay within our lines and get the job done, move them on or move them in. So, I mean, and if you do your job, then it's not, and you learn, and you definitely learn from your mistakes more than you learn from your successes. That's for definite sure. So,
But
and we just drink a lot.
man, make sure you're not getting the customer service face from your realtor.
Yeah.
Make sure that they, you know what they're doing, and
And
they're
please make
not
sure they
like,
work full time.
yes,
Get a
please.
full-time agent, because I'm going to tell you something. I know when somebody works part-time, they don't answer a freaking phone. They answer at lunch and they don't answer until after 5. I'm like, listen, big fly, we're in negotiation. And I tell agents up front, listen, we're in negotiation. If I call you, I don't need a new best friend. I'm calling you because there's a reason.
Yep.
So answer your phone.
Yep.
Answer your phone.
Yep. Well, you guys, so that was the tea for today. It was all about the fiduciary responsibilities and like ethics and just all this jazz. It's amazing how that is not focused upon. It's just kind of there on the wayside. Like we're told that we're supposed to do that, but everyone's like, oh, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I mean, there's some issues there with that, and making sure you're doing your due diligence as a buyer's agent or as a listing
Please.
agent, that
Yes.
you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in taking care of it. I mean, I was advocating most recently. I advocated for a client who was buying a condo, right? Might be the same condo building, but a different agent. This agent that I'm working with has been gold. She has been amazing. I have loved her every step of the way. Asked her for some HOA docs. She gave them to me. Well, there's two different HOAs at this building, right? There is the residential HOA and then there's the master HOA, because there is retail, an REI, in the basement, like on the ground floor. So there's two HOAs, and there's a lot of common. The master HOA covers the common areas that both the REI and the residential building, the residents share. So my client, because it's not my job, I am not an expert in HOA documents. My client, I said, please read your HOA documents. If you do not know or need help, please talk to a lawyer or talk to this person, and they will help you with it. And they said, okay, because I'm not stepping out of my bounds on that, because I am not an expert in HOA docs. They told me, they read the information and they said, I need all the HOA docs for the master because the residential pays into the master $340,000 a year. So I emailed the listing agent and I said, I need those. And she's like, why do you need them? And I talked to everybody. There should be absolutely no reason that you need those. And I'm like, well, in my due diligence period, this is what we found out. And I said that the residential pays into the commercial $340,000 a year. My client has every right to see all of the documents for the past year and everything for the master HOA. And what do you know? Monday, it shows up in my email.
Oh, yeah.
Because the HOA manager, who I talked to on the phone and asked for it from him, he did not have it, but it sure showed up. So doing my due diligence for my clients, being an advocate for my clients. I wasn't mean. I wasn't rude. I literally just lined out the facts.
Yeah.
And, the email wasn't like, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, like my client was, in one ear with me and like, we need to find these. We need to find these. We need to find these. And I'm like, I'm working on it. Like, I can't just magically make them appear. Like, obviously we've talked about it. I've sent an email about it. We get them. They showed up Monday. It was great. We were really happy about it. He read them. We were All parties were happy after that.
Yay.
But like, that's part of your job, because
Yep.
it sounds like, if not the listing agent, other agents in her office had sold condos in that building. And they're like, why do you need that?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
number
bizarre.
one, as
Well,
agents, we are not
because we
experts.
do.
We are not experts in HOA documents.
No.
But my client read, so read your HOA docs. If you are buying a condo, read them, or find someone professional and pay them to read them and explain them to you, because they, I mean, you got to know what you're responsible for. So
Yep.
do your due diligence. She was great though. She's great. She actually texted me this morning and she's like, we can close. Everything's out of the condo. We can close like today, tomorrow, or we can close Friday.
Yay.
Just let me know what your clients want to do. And I'm like, I'm on it.
No problem.
I emailed my clients and I'm waiting to hear back.
There you go. Due
So
diligence. Do your job.
do your job. And it is
Do your
not,
job.
you don't need to be mean. You don't need to,
No.
you
No.
don't need to be, it's just take the emotion out,
Yep.
set it aside. If someone else is being mean to you, set it aside. You don't know what they're going through. Maybe they're just a mean person all the time.
Yep.
But who knows? Don't take it personally.
No.
Just do your job.
But y'all, make sure you do tune in next week, because we'll talk about the market. It should be, oh, sorry, 2 weeks. It will be, yeah, let's talk about the market. And what
The
it's-
market. This is going to be a huge
Yeah.
one. So we're going to be, we are going to be back on February 20th. You can see on there,
Yeah.
the market is exploding. I don't know about Texas, but Portland and Southwest Washington is a nightmare right now already. I got beat out by $100,000.
Already. Yep. And I showed a house yesterday that had multiple offers. So
One
yeah.
of 10. So here's your preview. I was one of 10 offers on a $445,000 house in Portland.
Yep.
It went. All conditions waived, all contingencies waived, almost 100,000 over ask.
Yep. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that next week.
Let's chat next, well, in 2 weeks on February 20th. So anyways,
February 20th.
guys, thank you so much for joining us at the Real Estate Tea. We're here to complain. We're here to educate. We're here to just be there and be your friends. And so you know that we know what we're doing and we got your back.
We do.
We do. I am Cassandra Marks. She is Patricia Ann Young, and we can't wait to see you in 2 weeks. Take care, be
Bye.
kind, and have a great day.